Live, late breaking, WESH 2 News Sunrise starts now.
It's 4:30. Good Wednesday morning, and thank you for starting your day with us, the WESH 2 News Sunrise team. I'm Jason Guy.
And I'm Meredith McDonough. Let's begin with a check of the forecast today. Meteorologist Kellyanne Clash joining us now. Kellyanne, off to a clear start out there. Things are looking good.
Yeah, we're feeling great as well. A lot of locations this morning in the 60s, but we still do have a couple of 50s on the map. Out the door right now, things are very quiet. Out at the Space Coast, we are looking at the Vehicle Assembly Building where we have clear conditions. But warm conditions. Right now we're at 72 degrees in Melbourne, but 65 here in Orlando. It's 60 degrees in DeLand, 68 in Leesburg, 61 in Ocala, and a cool 57 degrees in Palm Coast. A closer look into Flagler County shows 53 in Bimini and Shell Bluff, Cody's Corner at 55, Corona at 58. We're at 57 degrees in Pearson, Maytown at 67, 64 in Deltona and Osteen, Vieira at 71, and Mico at 71 degrees. So we are just a little bit warmer for our southern locations and eastern locations, all thanks to an onshore wind, especially out in Osceola and Brevard counties. For the rest of Central Florida, calm winds to start. A few clouds slowly moving into place, but with high pressure just off our coastline, we're set for another sunny and dry day ahead, but it's going to get hot with temperatures reaching the upper 80s. Coming up in a few minutes, we'll have a look at that full forecast.
We'll see you then, Kellyanne. We are learning new details about a man being gunned down at a Deltona park.
WESH 2's Pamela Combe got a hold of the court documents that revealed this shooting was about a woman. The results are in for runoff elections in 2 Orange County cities. In Winter Park, voters elected Craig Russell to City Commissioner Seat 2. He beat Jason Johnson by just 34 votes. In Winter Garden, Ileana Jones beat Ron Mueller in the race for City Commissioner of District 2. Now, Jones won more than 52% of the vote. Orange County's mayor says transportation safety and improvements will continue to be a priority despite the fact a proposed tax increase is dead this year.
WESH 2's Greg Fox shows us how hundreds of improvement projects are still on the books and moving ahead. You can find a link to the county's transportation improvement program on our website, wesh.com. Okay, you've heard of RoboCop, but Florida Highway Patrol is trying a different version of that, more like Remote Cop.
WESH 2's Michelle Meredith reports it's all centered around your cell phone camera. Troopers involved are most likely headquartered in areas of the state with a light workload. Right now, the patrol desk trooper is in effect in roads controlled by the Central Florida Expressway Authority. SunPass customers, listen to this. Officials from the toll service are sending a warning about a phishing scam. Now, they say some customers are receiving a text message asking them to make a payment or take some other form of action to their account. Now, SunPass says it does not ask for payments through text message. The first 7 jurors for former President Donald Trump's hush money trial have been chosen.
They include an oncology nurse, a corporate lawyer, and an English teacher. Before they were seated, jurors went through the questionnaire phase by the district attorney's office and Mr. Trump's lawyers. Trump has pleaded not guilty to 34 counts of falsifying business records. The charges are tied to a payment he allegedly made to an adult film actor at the end of the 2016 election cycle. Jury selection will continue tomorrow until a panel of 12 New Yorkers and likely 6 alternates are selected. This trial could last 6 to 8 weeks.
The articles of impeachment against Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas are now in the hands of the Senate. All 100 senators will be sworn in as jurors this afternoon. House representatives delivered the articles yesterday. Democratic Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer has said the Senate will deal with the matter quickly. Republicans say they want to shine the spotlight on what they see as Mayorkas' failure to secure the southern border.
Alejandro N. Mayorkas' willful and systemic refusal to comply with the law has had a calamitous consequence for the nation.
A handful of GOP senators, though, have said that the impeachment is meritless. It's unclear exactly how long the trial will last. High tensions at a school board meeting in South Florida.
All centered around the topic of book banning.
And you're muting my mic again. Why? Because you don't want to be challenged. You are a hypocrite, Lori.
See those heated exchanges between community members and chair members, plus what's being done by the governor next on Sunrise. Welcome back. A South Florida school board meeting got very heated yesterday over book banning.
Lauren Pastrana reports the meeting was open for public comments, but the microphone at one point was cut off.
That was Lauren Pastrana reporting. New rules are going into effect soon, limiting how many banned books some people can challenge in schools. Governor Ron DeSantis signed the bill into law yesterday in Jacksonville. Starting in July, people without kids in a district can only file one complaint per month. DeSantis says some districts may have gone too far removing titles from schools.
You have some people who are taking the curriculum transparency and they're trying to weaponize that for political purposes. And so that involves objecting to normal books.
The new law does not limit the number of challenges a parent with children in a school can file.
The signing comes as book bans are on the rise in schools across the U.S. A new report says there have already been 4,500 instances of book bans in the first half of this school year. That's already more than the entire 2022-23 school year. Florida topped the list with 3,100 bans in 11 school districts, followed by Wisconsin, Iowa, and Texas. Now, PEN America, which compiled the report, says books discussing sex, abortion, rape, race, and also LGBTQ themes are the most censored.
It has flown twice before, but never with crew members aboard.
That'll change next month when Boeing Space launches a critical human test flight.
But Space Coast Bureau Chief Scott Heidler looks at the new Starliner spacecraft and what lies ahead.
SpaceX is gearing up for another rocket launch. A Falcon 9 is set to lift off from the Kennedy Space Center tonight, just before 5:30. The rocket will be carrying a batch of Starlink satellites into orbit.
Okay, now to our first warning weather as we talk about that rocket launch and the forecast. It's just going to be hot by that time.
Yeah, good thing it's a clear start to the day, Kellyanne, and you've got the launch forecast for us.
It is, and that clear start is going to lead into a clear and dry afternoon. So things are looking really good for that Falcon 9 Starlink launch. At 5:26, we're looking at 90% favorable weather conditions, just watching a few clouds, but that's not going to be a big concern. We have high pressure just off of our east coast. That's going to keep us nice and dry today. It's also what's helping to keep us clear this morning and cool as well. We're at 58 degrees in DeLand, 57 in Palm Coast, but 62 degrees in Daytona Beach. It's 65 in Orlando, 67 degrees in Kissimmee, and we are at 72 degrees in Melbourne. Then as we look into the upper levels of our atmosphere, we have this big ridge of high pressure just around the Bay of Campeche out in the Gulf of Mexico. With this high pressure strengthening, it's going to keep us dry today through the rest of the week. And it means we're also going to get hot. Look at this day planner. We're looking at plenty of sunshine, no rain. By lunch, we're at 82 degrees. And then later on today, we top out in the middle and upper 80s inland. Plenty of spots, including Winter Haven, Wildwood, the Villages nearing the low 90s. Coastal locations today will be the coolest in the low 80s, all thanks to an east-southeast wind around 10 to 15 miles per hour. So it's going to be hot today. It's going to get even hotter tomorrow as temperatures reach the lower 90s for the second time this year. And that stretch of 90s will continue going into Friday through the weekend. Our ridge of high pressure, as that strengthens, it keeps a lot of fronts out of our direction. So you'll be looking at showers and thunderstorms in the Carolinas, but here locally, no rainfall to track. So tomorrow afternoon, because of that ridge of high pressure, we're at 90 degrees in Orlando. And in fact, nearly all inland locations will be in the low 90s. Coastal locations tomorrow in the middle 80s. The only location that we're looking at record heat for tomorrow is going to be Leesburg. You're set to tie your record high temperature of 90 degrees from 1990. Orlando will be 3 degrees shy of the record. Sanford, you will be 4 degrees shy of your record high temperatures. 90s continues through the end of the work week, going into the weekend. And for the weekend, it's the middle 90s. Sunday, an isolated shower can't be ruled out. Monday, a very weak front tries to move into Central Florida, bringing about a 30% chance of rainfall, but only dropping highs on Tuesday into the upper 80s.
The town of Eatonville is one of the top contenders for a new Florida Museum of Black History. Town officials say it ranks second among 8 potential locations. And as we've reported, the state is considering the site at the corner of Kennedy and Wymore on land owned by Orange County Schools. The task force will meet on Friday in Tallahassee to discuss details and answer questions about each potential site. The race for the gold is getting closer this morning.
Yeah, we're exactly 100 days away from the opening ceremony at the Summer Olympics.
I already know I'm gonna be like looking over at my fellow Olympians like, I'm here too, it's me, Mo. LeBron, hey.
These athletes are excited to be Olympians and their fans too. The story ahead for you on Sunrise. Today, we're exactly 100 days out from the opening ceremony at the Summer Olympics in Paris.
Dozens of stars from Team USA are in New York to celebrate. NBC's Jay Gray asked the athletes what it means to represent their country with the whole world watching.
Just a true testament to their spirit, and we have complete coverage of the Paris Summer Olympics. You'll be able to watch the opening ceremony and catch all the action only on WESH 2. The NBA postseason is here. Round 1 starts Saturday.
The Orlando Magic will begin their run in Cleveland for Game 1. The Cavs have a bit of the upper hand when it comes to the postseason experience. The majority of Orlando's roster, well, they've never been to the playoffs. So that, coupled with the Cavs' perimeter shooting, might seem like Cleveland has a slight edge. But the Cavs head coach was quick to praise the Magic and some of the problems they present.
Right down the middle, nice challenge. I mean, they're big. Obviously, they got great positional size all over the floor. They got individuals who can create their own shot, put a ton of pressure on you, and they're really sound defensively.
WESH 2 Sports will be with the Magic on the road this week. Our coverage from Cleveland begins on Friday night at 5 o'clock on WESH 2 News. Construction has been allowed again during a delicate time in Volusia County.
Turtle nesting season is just weeks away, but leaders say some people living there are just now ready to rebuild. The efforts to protect animals and restore the shore 2 years after hurricanes battered our coast.